Well, good morning. It's day 79. Can't believe again that I've been on the trail that long. And man, look at that beard. It's really growing out. It's starting to look like Santa Claus. So it's somewhere around 6:30. I'm on my way. Gonna do probably somewhere between 22 and 27 today. Not really sure. We do cross the highest point of the PCT in Oregon today. I think it's around 7,500 feet. I don't know, I'll have to look it up. But there's a poster that marks that spot, so when I get there, I'm sure I'll be videoing it. I hope you guys' day is off to a great start. Mine certainly is. And I'll talk to you a little later. This is what my trail looks like this morning. This must be a forest that burned down years ago and it started to regrow. But you can see lots of down trees and then all the new trees. So it's kind of unique. I don't know that I've walked through something like this before. So I don't know what type of tree this is, but it's across the trail. And I just thought it was really interesting with all the knots. And it almost looks like if you've ever seen a cypress tree that has twists and turns and big knots like that. Alright, so we're leaving Crater Lake National Park and we're headed into the Fremont Wanima National Forest. There's a sign over there. And clearly we're crossing a highway. So here's another nice water cache that somebody left us. So I showed you that water cache back there, and it's interesting that you'd be seeing that in Oregon. You'd think there'd be tons of water, but there's actually a couple sections that have fairly long water carries. It's available, and if you manage it right, it's fine. But having the water caches sure makes it a lot easier. Finally up high enough to get a little bit of a view. This is probably a little better viewing spot than the last one. It's just nice to be out of the forest for a little bit and get some views and have the sun on you. Feels good. So this is Diamond Lake down there. So Mount Thielson's starting to peek through the trees at us. If you remember, just yesterday I was pointing it out from the watchtower at Crater Lake. I know you really can't see it here. I'll just turn it off, and then when I get around to where you can see it, I'll turn it back on. There's a pretty good view of it right there. I'm sure there'll be more as I go along today. So here's a look back towards Diamond Lake. We're going to stop and take a little break here for a few minutes. Alright, so we walked past the base of Mount Thielson, and now we're moving on further north. So here's a great view of Mount Thielson. So way off in the distance out here, right about in this area, there's you can just see two mountains that have got snow covered on them, and those are called the Sisters. There's actually three Sisters mountains, but those are two, and we'll be walking by those hopefully in a couple days. I just wanted to get one more picture of that before I move on. Look at the cool colors and that rock formation. So here's our lunch spot on day 79. We're at mile 1857. How about that for a view? All right, so one of the highlights of the day, super exciting. We're at the Oregon-Washington highest point on the PCT, which is 7,560 feet. That's not the tallest point in either one of those states. It's just the highest point that the PCT crosses in those states. So I know that everyone was waiting for that excitement. Now you've got it. Now you can sit back and relax. Well, we're out of the woods for a little bit, so here's a nice little view. Probably won't get many of these. It's about, it's coming up on 5 o'clock, I think. We've done like 22 miles. Still trying to get at least another 5 in. Well, as you can see, I've got my bug net back on, so we're back in mosquito land. The good news is that the Prometheon and other bug spray seems to be working. Get a couple bites, but nothing like what we were experiencing before. I better check in with you guys. It's about 7:15, and we've got 3 miles to go to get to 30 for the day. So that's our plan, is to get as close to 30 as we can and start looking for a campsite. There's not any specific ones marked on our app that we use to help find campsites. So we'll just go along till we find a spot that looks good. So I'll update you guys as we get there. Not sure what lake this is down here, but sure is pretty. That whole view across that valley, that's awesome. Well, this morning I showed you the sun rising through the trees, and tonight I'll show it to you setting in the trees. All right, this is a wrap up for day 79. We did 30 miles today. I'm not going to stand out here and say too much because there are swarms of mosquitoes where we're staying at. So I hope you guys had a great day. I did. Things went really smooth today, and we'll talk to you guys tomorrow morning. Good night.